Hi friends, today I am going to discuss about APM's 8th chapter, Monetary Policy and Fiscal Policy. This is a very important chapter. Many questions are being asked from this, so study thoroughly this chapter. I am only now discussing the theory part. Numericals and case studies will be discussed later. Maybe I will not be able to complete it before the exam, but it will be useful for next year exams. Because I have started the channel recently, and please subscribe to my channel for updates. What is monetary policy? Monetary policy is a tool using which the government and central bank, that is RBI of a country, controls the following. So what is monetary policy is to control all this, what I am saying now. Supply of money, availability of money, cost of money and rate of interest to attain economic growth and sustainability. So a monetary policy is to control the money supply in the economy, that is how much money is available in the economy, and the cost of money, what is the rate of interest and what is the price of money, that these are all being controlled through monetary policy, and through all this we attain economic growth and sustainability. Next, what are the types of monetary policy? There are two types of monetary policy, that is expansionary policy and contractionary policy. Expansionary policy means it increases supply of money in the economy, that is expands. They let out the money in the economy so that it is helpful for combating unemployment in recession period by lowering interest rates. Interest rates are being lowered this time, so money is being induced into the economy. In contractionary policy, what happens? We feel that there is so much of money in the economy, so they will suck it out. That is contractionary policy. It decreases supply of money in the economy. It is used to combat inflation by raising interest rates. So interest rates are being raised in this time, that is inflation will come. So what happens? Money is being sucked by RBI, so there will be less money in the economy. So two types of monetary policy is expansionary and contractionary. For this expansionary and contractionary, they have tools. What are the tools of monetary policy? Let's see that. First one is bank rate, the rate at which RBI rediscount bills of commercial banks. That means it is also called discount rate. What is bank rate? It can be said that it's the rate at which RBI lends money to domestic banks for very short term, say for a 1 day. This is the rate at which bank takes loan from RBI for very short period. Understood? Bank is taking loan from RBI for a very short period, for 1 day, say 1 day, like that. It is called, and the rate at which RBI gives money is called bank rate. I think you understood what is bank rate. It can also be said as it's the rate at which commercial banks can borrow from RBI without providing any security. They don't need to give any security because it's very short term, so it is without securities. So what is bank rate? It is the rate at which bank borrows from RBI without any securities. It is also called discount rate. It can be asked a question, what is discount rate? It is bank rate. Second one is open market operations. It is OMO. RBI buys and sells government securities or bonds in secondary market. So what happens when there is lots of money in the market? They do buying and selling process to induce and suck money. When government sell bond, what happens? Government is giving telling I am going to sell a bond. That means someone has to give money to government, right? That means from economy money is being taken by RBI, right, or the government. Next, when government buys a bond, That is, government has so much of money in the hand, so they will give it to economy to induce liquidity. You got the difference. When government sells a bond, it absorbs liquidity. When government buys a bond, it to inject liquidity. Next is cash reserve ratio, that is CRR. The present banking system is called fractional reserve banking system. This is called fractional reserve banking system, as banks are required to keep only a fraction of their deposits liabilities in the form of liquid cash with central bank for ensuring safety and liquidity of deposits. What happens if there is a crisis comes? What happens? Bank will not be having any money. So what they do before starting the business, they keep some amount of money with somebody else, that is with RBI, so that if some crisis comes, they can utilize that money. So that system is called fractional reserve banking system. Indian banks are using such kind of system, so that they will keep some amount of money with RBI, so central bank, for safety. So a certain amount of liquid cash from NDTL, net demand time liabilities, has to be maintained in RBI by banks. It is called CRR. So in the form of only cash, so that very urgent need they can take it from RBI. That is in the form of only cash, liquid cash, that is CRR. And it's as per 42(1) of RBI Act. It is very it is compulsory to keep that certain amount should be kept with the RBI, and there is no interest paid for this cash by RBI. It is according to 42(1) of RBI Act. This question I have seen, 42(1) of RBI Act. Increasing CRR reduce liquidity. So if we are increasing CRR, means we are asking for money, give like that from RBI, right? So liquidity will be less. Increasing CRR reduce liquidity and vice versa. So next is statutory liquidity ratio, SLR. A certain amount of NDTL to be maintained in bank itself in any form like cash, gold, bonds, etc. SLR is not in liquid cash. We can keep it in any form like gold, cash, bonds, that is illiquid forms, but a certain has to be maintained in bank itself. Bank has to maintain that, not in RBI. Bank has to maintain that, that is SLR. It is as per 24 of Banking Regulation Act, because bank is keeping, it is Banking Regulation Act. That RBI is keeping, that's why RBI Act. 42(1) of RBI Act. This is 24 of Banking Regulation Act. It is to control the bank credit to public. What happens? Bank will give so much of credit to people. So to restrict that, what will happen? SLR will be increased. Next is repo rate or repurchase rate. It is also called repurchase rate. This is similar to now bank rate, but what happens? We have to give securities. So you remember what is bank rate? That is commercial bank takes money from RBI without any security for very short period. That is bank rate. In repo rate, what happens? The rate at which RBI lends to commercial bank by purchasing securities that is promised to be repurchased after some time. See the difference. In this, lending is up to lending, it is correct. What happens then? They give some securities and bank will say, you keep this, I will repurchase this after some time. Till then you give some money to me, like that. In that, RBI gives money. For that, the rate, interest rate is repo rate. So here a repurchasing action is being taken, so it is also called repurchase rate. If repo increases, purchasing from RBI becomes expensive, and therefore bank interest rate will increase. So bank lending rate is based on repo rate. What happens if repo is increased? So bank will be asking for money from RBI. So RBI will be saying, you have to give me this much interest. So what happens? It will become more expensive because repo is high. And what will happen? Bank will say, okay, we will purchase from RBI and we will take extra from public, 1% extra from public to compensate this. So what will happen? Interest rate to public will also increase. So Repo rate is directly linked with lending rate. You understood the difference, I think. What is repo rate? What is reverse repo rate? The rate at which bank park their excess money with RBI. What will happen? There will be lot of profit or something like that. Excess money is with banks. Bank tells it is not good to keep it with us because excess of money we are not getting anything from this. We will keep it with RBI so that RBI can utilize it for other purpose, and RBI has to give us some interest rate. So that is called reverse repo rate. RBI does this when it feels too much of money is floating in economy. So RBI asks you give the money to me, I will give some interest. So like that we will keep our excess money with RBI and interest will be paid. If reverse repo rate is increased, banks will prefer to park their excess cash with RBI. It reduces liquidity in the economy. So what will happen? RBI tells that if you give money, I will give 10% interest rate. So what will happen? Bank will think, so it is better to give it to RBI than public. So we will park with RBI so that we will get more interest. So it is to reduce liquidity in the economy. I think you understood what is reverse repo rate. Next is fiscal policy. It's the government spending and revenue collection process. It's the government spending and revenue collection process. It is the fiscal policy and monetary policy means monetary policy is monitored by RBI. Fiscal policy is the government's spending, expenditure and income. Method is fiscal policy. Two instruments are government spending and taxation. Government spending and taxation. It is used to have price stability, full employment and economic growth. It is taken place to have economic growth, full employment and price stability. FRBM Act. It is Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. It is headed by EAS Sharma, enacted in 2003. There are 4 requirements in FRBM Act. This question I have seen is very important. FRBM, Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. It is headed by EAS Sharma, enacted as a law in 2003. There are 4 requirements in this. First one is government has to place before Parliament 3 statements along with the budget. Midterm fiscal policy strategy, microeconomic framework. There are 3 statements that have to be submitted along with budget. That is midterm fiscal policy strategy, microeconomic framework. Second point is center to reduce fiscal deficit, revenue deficit and also set ceilings on guarantee. Third point is center should not borrow from RBI, that's deficit financing through money creation. Temporary ways and means are allowed. So what does this mean? What happens if government is not having any money? They will ask RBI to print money. So they can compensate for that. This should be stopped. This policy was telling this should be stopped. Temporarily we can ask for some kind of help, but should not go to RBI for their deficit. Finance Minister to keep Parliament informed, quarterly reviews on these, to take corrective action if any deviation is shown in review. So what the fourth point is, Finance Minister always have to watch on this quarterly basis and report has to be given to Parliament, so that if there is some deviation, corrective step has to be taken. These are the 4 points. Why it is been introduced? No deviation shall be permitted without Parliament approval. There should not be any deviation without Parliament approval. It's to reduce dependence of government on borrowing and help to reduce the fiscal deficit in a phased manner. So what FRBM is intending to is that government should not borrow from RBI. What will happen if they borrow more money will be printed, so more money will be induced in economy, so many fraud like that things are happening. So it is to reduce the dependence of government to RBI, and what will happen? It will be adjusted in a phased manner. Their deficit, that money problems, will be adjusted in a phased manner by the government. So this is the chapter. You only have to study these theory to get the theory part clear. Thank you.